How's it going, everybody? This morning, as I was cooking a little bit of breakfast, I had the TV on, and the NCAA March Madness tournament was going on, and listening with half an ear, I kind of, oddly enough, drew some comparisons to Overwatch in its current state in this weird preseason, or the off-season, as Monte Cristo put very aptly, that it's we are in kind of an off season, and it is kind of comparable to the students and the basketball players that do play in the March Madness tournament, in how it's very harsh and it's very unforgiving, and you don't have the same opportunities as you might when you go pro. And I think that once the Overwatch League comes around, I think that's like that step from coming from the NCAA and going into the NBA or wherever you decide to go after they finish their schooling. Going off of that, once you become a pro in the NBA, you start to get these really famed offensive coordinators. You get these general managers, the coaches, the people in the front office that have a wide breadth of knowledge that they can pass on to you that could really level up your career. And I think that's the beginnings of Overwatch. And I think that's going to be the key for a lot of these teams that do make it into the Overwatch League, is getting the support staff, using them properly, and really tapping into that power that good coaches, good analysts, good general managers can really build that team up and push them forward and make them that world-class team that can compete internationally. I think another comparison you can make to the March Madness tournament is how close everything is. Everything right now in Overwatch is at a knife's edge. People are getting upset when they shouldn't be. People are taking games off of teams that they probably shouldn't have. Two good examples, at least from my knowledge currently, and the most recent, today's March 17th. So in the Overwatch Pit Championship qualifiers, we had Fnatic losing in the qualification bracket to You Guys Get Paid, which was a team I think that featured Psycho Waffle. But this is Fnatic. They came from Korea. They just got back from Korea, probably playing on some decently high ping, but there again, they are a internationally competitive team. They are not necessarily the strongest internationally competitive team, but they are quite strong, and they honestly should not be losing to You Guys Get Paid. It was quite the upset when I saw that on Reddit this morning. But you can see that comparison where the March Madness tournament, you can see the first seeded team lose to the 16th seeded team. You can see seed 4 lose to seed 8. Teams that shouldn't really be dropping games to these lower seeded teams get upset, and it's you don't really bat an eye at it in the March Madness. And I think that's something that we kind of have to look at with a little. We shouldn't fault these teams that get upset too heavily, because we are still learning. Overwatch is still being figured out. The game isn't solved yet. And for these kids in college, basketball isn't solved yet for them either, because they are still growing. Their coaches are still growing. Another good comparison would be the best of one format. We can look at the best of one format in comparison to Overwatch. It's a very harsh format. You don't get a lot of chances. In fact, you get one chance. And it really is that harsh environment that really kind of separates the good from the bad players. Or not necessarily the good from bad, but the good from great, right? The all-stars compared to your role players, right? One upset in the Overwatch community, and everybody just seems to grab their pitchforks and kind of make a mockery of teams that drop games where they really shouldn't have. Sure, they shouldn't, but we're still all figuring this out. We might even have teams in the kind of amateur scene that haven't been signed yet be really, really good. I mean, we can look at Spicy Boys. We can look at Bird Noises, which was formerly Hammers Esports, which is now LG Evil. They all came from that amateur scene. They all came from somewhere. You know what I mean? So we can't really fault these bigger teams currently too much. Yes, they should be kind of they should not lose to these lower seeded teams, but there again, is it reasonable? In a way it is, I think. Just like in a best of one format, you could just show up that day and have a bad game. Maybe Fnatic had just a bad day. Another good example, going back to that Fnatic example, is the CLG set versus Selfless. CLG actually looked really, really strong. I think Hydration actually surprised the hell out of me. Selfless did kind of get shooken up on that first King of the Hill map, which is really odd. Selfless in a lot of people's top three for North America, being a really, really aggressive team. I think Hammers went on record saying that they kind of learned that really aggressive style that Jake and Super like to use from Selfless and scrims. So we can't really boil them down to just getting upset and now they're a bad team. No, not necessarily. They could be on a downswing. They could have just had a bad day. They could just be, like I said, just maybe not having the best day. Didn't show up, didn't come to play, but hopefully they can prepare for next time. And I think that's this weird comparison to the NCAA March Madness tournament that I think is kind of interesting. I thought it was an interesting little tidbit. I thought I'd throw at you. Thought it was a interesting video, possibly, maybe, I don't know. If you liked it, leave a comment below, thumbs up, all that good stuff, and have a good night.